Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be doing an accessibility review on this portfolio, and this portfolio is by Tom. He is a developer from Germany and he asked me if I would take a look at his portfolio and see if we can find any accessibility issues. So that is what we're going to be doing today. So I thought I'm going to actually refresh this from the beginning so you can see how his portfolio loads. And that is because I want you to see that he has a little bit of animation here at the top, which looks pretty fun and is nice to have, but in terms of accessibility can be a bit problematic. So what I'm going to do is we're going to open up the DevTools, and if we go to the rendering tab down here, we can scroll down. And there's one that's called Emulate CSS Media Feature Prefers Reduced Motion. Now, some people that have problems with vestibular disorders, so they might experience a lot of dizziness, might have problems with motion sickness, that kind of thing, can find that lots and lots of animation on a website can be a bit problematic. And so they might set their system to prefer reduced motion. And there is a CSS feature, which I'll show you in a minute, how to code this into your document so that you can use it. So if I decide that I want this setting on my computer, prefers reduced motion, I can set it here, prefers reduced motion, reduce. But you can see that this is still going. And if I reload again, you can actually see that all of this still comes in as an animation. So that is definitely something I would consider adding into your CSS. I'll show you how it works. I found this code pen, Reduce Motion Media Query Example by Eric Bailey. I'll drop the link in the description below. And this works by, he's got a circle with some animation on it. But he also has a media query here, which is at media, and then in brackets prefers reduced motion, reduce, and then on this thingamabob, which he's called it, he's put animation none. So if here I change my no emulation to prefers reduced motion, you'll see that it automatically changes to the CSS that he's provided here as an alternative. So that is the way to fix this little problem. So that's definitely something you can look into, Tom, and see if you can reduce some of this motion in case people don't like it. Let's carry on and let's do an Axe DevTools scan. If I move the rendering down, scan the page, and let's have a look what we've got. Okay, we have got 53 issues, so a fair bit to do here. 30 of those issues are that the elements must have sufficient color contrast. So let's have a look at those. If we highlight those, yeah, we've got some slightly pale colors. I know you've tried to make this nice and colorful, but you need to go through and just choose slightly darker colors so that they work on the white background. And I imagine, yeah, the blue is too light. You've got a color contrast of 1.91 here. It needs to be at least 4.5 to 1. And in several cases, the grey here is too low. Only slightly, this grey is slightly 4.44. So you haven't got to change that one very much at all to get that bumped up to 4.5. Lots of grey, lots of blue. Okay, so that's something you can have a look through and just adjust the colours slightly so that they work better on the white background. ID attribute values must be unique. Let's look at this. It suggests that you may have this ID projects twice somewhere in your portfolio, so have a look at that. Links with same name must have similar purpose. Not entirely sure if there's another link to that somewhere. It could be that the home also has the link to the same place, but that's not too much of a problem. Heading levels should only increase by 1. Okay, let's have a look what we've got here. Here we have a H5. Okay, and looking at how this page is laid out, we probably shouldn't have any H5s, because this is probably going to be your H1, the about section, these should be H2s, so this probably should be a H3. We can look at that a little bit deeper in a minute. Document should have one main landmark. That probably means that in your HTML you do not have anything. You've got your nav bar and then a container. Yeah, you don't have any main element here, so you need to add in a main element so that you can tell what is the main content. And all page content should be contained by landmarks. Again, that's probably because, let's just stop the highlight for a second. This is because you've got lots and lots of divs. You have got a navigation, perfect, but that is outside of the container. But that's not too much of a problem. But then you have no header, you have no main, and you have no footer anywhere. So, sorry, you do have a footer. You have a footer down here, but consider adding in at least a main on this the whole container in that case, instead of having a div. Okay, I wanted to have a quick look at the headings, and in order to do that I have got a plugin or an extension called Headings Map, which is really useful. If I open that up, you can see actually here we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 H1s. You should only ever have one H1 on your page, and so what I am thinking is, because you're trying to style this all in slightly different ways, you are dividing it up into different H1s. Yeah, so we've got H1 here, and then you're wrapping these in like divs, and that's not quite the way in order to do this. The way to do this should be one H1, and you should then use spans inside it to split it up and do the styling. So turn this into one H1 only, and then style it with spans instead. Okay, after that we have got some H2s, which is brilliant, an about, a project, the background, but then in the project section we've got these H5s under, and they should be H3s instead, because they are hierarchical. So don't use headings just to style things, use CSS to style things. These should be H3s. Okay, let's have a look. Background and then some H3s under it, that's perfect. But then again, down here in certificates, these are H5s again. If these are under H3s, then they should be H4s, and these H6s should be H5s. So that is something to look at. And also, I would say that these, where you've got the H6, that's probably, I wouldn't call it a heading. This is like, the heading is the GitLab 101 tools certification, and then this is like a sub heading, but I would not wrap it in a heading tag. I would wrap it in a P tag instead and style it as a subheading, because it doesn't actually have any like extra like dividing up information. It belongs to this heading, if you kind of understand what I mean. So that's something to look at. And then down here we've got another H2 followed by H5. So definitely need to go and have a look and make sure all of your headings are adjusted and follow the correct order. And again, this is called Headings Map if you want to have a look at that. So now I'm going to close these two down, and I thought we will test the tabbing order just to make sure we can tab through all of this. So if we start at the top and see where we go, and check that we have a focus indicator as well. So first tab, nice and clear, we end up on the Schmelto logo as expected, and we can see that that's a link down in the bottom left hand corner, and that will take us back to the home page. Then we go to the home link, about, projects and background. There, I see there was on the projects, this is where we've got the extra ID that matches the other projects section. I think something to look at there. Brilliant. Where do we go now? Okay, we go to the news app, and if I click enter on that, hopefully, yeah, that opens in a new tab. Okay, and takes us to the news app site. Okay, let's carry on. Okay, then we go down, which is interesting. I would have expected to go across first, but not too much of an issue. And then we go across, and then we go to portfolio. Okay, great. After that, we go further to certificates again. I would say, although you do have some sort of focus indicator because this is getting marked as an outline, it's not super obvious to me. I might consider doing something extra or making it just a little bit thicker and changing the color slightly so it's a little bit more obvious than what it is at the moment. If I click on that, that also opens in a new tab. No? Did it? Oh, okay, that downloaded something. That's interesting. I might consider putting some sort of warning on there because I was not expecting to download something there, and downloading things is always a little bit iffy. So does the same thing happen here? No, that goes to Free Code Camp. Okay. Okay, then we jump from responsive web design over here. I might think about the order of tabbing there, and I then miss out these two completely. Which, okay, when I hover, I can see these are links, but these have no hovers. Okay, but that to me feels a little bit like, okay, because these ones were links, I was expecting these to also be links. So maybe make it clear that these ones are clickable, maybe by underlining or something, just to differentiate between the clickable certificates and the non-clickable certificates. That would be my suggestion. Where are we now? We're down on other. Here I can, if I click on this, I open a list of issues. This one though doesn't open in a new tab, which is interesting because all of your others do open in a new tab. So that might be something to take a look at as well. I would suggest often not opening things in a new tab because the screen readers don't always announce it, but that's up to you what you want to do. Now we've lost our tabbing place. Let's see really quickly where we end up. There we are. Other terminal also opens up, and then we've got some LinkedIn to these they open in a new tab again. Okay, go follow Tom on LinkedIn or all of his other links as well. Okay, great. There, the tabbing order is correct. You can get to his GitHub there. I would just question why we need to have a link here to the version, but that's up to you. If you want to have a link there, that's fine. Okay, so that is the tabbing order. A few places I would suggest just making it a little bit clearer where you've got links or not links and which ones open in new windows and which ones don't. Or just make it consistent so that they all do or all don't. And finally, let's have a look at what happens if we zoom this up to, we'll go for 400 because, you know, why not? That's fun. Okay, so we turn our page into a hamburger menu here. Let me just check if this is keyboard accessible. Yes, it is. If I press enter, I do open that up and I can click on the different sections. Brilliant. And I scroll down. However, this is fixed, which means that it is taking up a fair amount of screen estate in this zoomed in format. But let's have a look. Okay, you can see how it all works. Everything seems to reflow nicely. Nothing seems to be getting cut off. Maybe this is a little bit too far to the left, but it's not too much of a problem. No, everything seems to reflow nicely in this format. Brilliant. Let's zoom out again. So, okay, so now we are going to have a go at listening to this with a screen reader. One thing that screen reader users often do is they search through by headings, and they do that by pressing the H key. They can also search through by tabbing things, or finding a list of links or buttons. But I thought we'll go for the headings to start with. Maybe if I tab onto the page first.
Schmelto document. Clickable navigation landmark link less Schmelto/greater. Hello. Heading level 1. I am heading level 1. Tom heading level 1.
So here you can hear how a screen reader user would hear this H1, which is broken up into different sections, like I am heading level 1. Sounds a little bit strange.
Developer heading level 1. Consultant heading level 1. Coder heading level 1. About heading level 2. Projects heading level 2.
Okay, so maybe I'm here on projects and I want to...
Link heading level 5 description 100 days of code.
So you can hear that tells me it's a link, and that it's 100 days of code.
Link my log for the number 100 days of code challenge.
But it also tells me that the next section, my log for the 100 days of code challenge line, is also a link.
Visited link heading level 5 article news app. Visited link news app made with Ionic and Angular.
So those two there should probably not be announced as separate links, because they are all contained.
Link heading level 5 person portfolio. Link my portfolio website. Link heading level 5 home impact hackathon. Link repository for the number impact hackathon 2020 of campus founders.
Okay, so you can hear how that sounds.
Heading level 2 background. Heading level 3 experience. List with 2 items October 2020 present. Heading level 3 junior IT application consultant SACFI/co. Burkert Work GmbH and Company kilogram.
That was funny. KG is read out as kilogram.
September 2017 September 2020. Heading level 3 dual student, business informatics. Burkert Work GmbH and Company kilogram.
So screen readers are not really great at reading out like dashes and hyphens and things.
Out of list heading level 3 education. List with 2 items 2017-2020.
So they tend to ignore them. I want to go down to this.
Bachelor of Science, Business Informatics heading level 3. General University Entrance Qualification heading level 3.
I'm just pressing H to go through the headings.
Level 3.
I want to see how it reacts with these different ones.
Link heading level 5 GIT Lab 101 Tool Certification. Link heading level 6 GIT Lab Incorporated. Link issued September 2020, no expiration date.
I wonder, let's have a quick look at...
Menu selected submit Schmelto document.
And I've just noticed there's actually a small typo here as well, Tom. Certificates is not quite spelled correctly. Let's just have a look at how these are done. So we have got, everything is in a div, and everything is in a div flex card. This could be an article instead, or a list item, because you've got 5 of them and they all look the same. List items are always good, because then the screen reader will announce list 1 of 5 when it picks it up. So let's have a look what is... Okay, so everything is wrapped in the link, and then you've got your div card body, and then the H5. Okay, so everything is wrapped in a link. But I might suggest either make this into an article or a list item, wrapping it in an unordered list, so that these are read out in a more efficient way to screen reader users. Let's just have a look at these ones that don't have... Okay, these ones just don't have the links wrapped around them. So there are a few things that Tom can think about in order to improve their portfolio even further and make it more accessible. adding the prefers reduced motion to the top area where the animation happens for those that have issues with animations and lots of movement on screen. They can improve the order of the heading tags so that they go in order and don't hop over any, and don't use them for styling but use them in the correct order. There's a few tabbing order issues where things go down instead of across first, so that is something that could be looked at, and a few color contrast issues. So anyway, I hope that was really helpful to everybody. I hope it will help you to think about how to improve your own website in terms of accessibility. I will leave all the links to Tom's portfolio and his GitHub repo down below. I will also leave a link to the repository where you can request your own accessibility review on a website that you own. And I want to thank you very much for watching today. If you do have any questions, leave them down below. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day, a great week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!